how we are really.
Nah.
This is how we really are.
We need a little hydraulic. Look, there we go. Much better.
So a lot of you have asked how we met. You want to know the story. So today we are going to give it to you.
I feel like we come a long way. Very long way.
Definitely come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
We met in 2003?
I don't know.
2002?
I was like 15, 16, something like that. I just came back from Georgia. So I spent 2 years in Georgia living with my dad. Just came back to California, and she used to come to visit. I'm from Oakland. She would come visit her family in Oakland, who happened to live a block away from my mom. So that's kind of how that meetup happened. They kind of were in cahoots, like, oh, they should meet. Yada yada yada. I was over her aunt's house one day. She's like, you want to meet my niece? And like, show me a picture. And I'm like, hell yeah, I want to meet your niece. And that's kind of how it started. You want to tell about our first date?
We went to see Lord of the Rings, which is something I'm totally not into. But I was like, he's cute. I want to meet him, so let's go see this movie. Man, I wish I had a photo from that day so people could see what you were wearing.
It's okay. I wore very awkward clothes back in the day. I'm sure she'll pull up a photo right now of me wearing something big that was just too big for me. I mean, I just came back from Georgia, and Georgia style is a little bit different than style in California. So a lot of big clothes, a lot of colors. I was fly in my opinion though.
You were okay. Your shoes were on point though. I'll say that.
Always.
I was like, okay, all right, you got your shoes, is cool. We went on the date, went to the movies. Mind you, I'm just here, or I was just in Oakland for the winter. We hung out the rest of that break, and then I came back. We didn't see each other again for like 6-9 months, something like that. Mm-hmm. But in between that time, we would talk on the phone, text, AIM, whatever,
back in the
you
day.
know?
Yeah.
And Devin decides to just up and get a whole girlfriend when we had met, been talking.
We weren't serious at the time. God knows what she was doing. Y'all was definitely still going to parties and all that, still meeting dudes. It wasn't nothing exclusive. We hadn't discussed anything.
Anyway, so yes, that happened. So then from there, I just kind of cut him off and kind of did my own thing.
We started talking again maybe the summer after. We've been involved in each other's lives for a long time. Our families are really close. We were in the same church community. So she would still come out in the summertime. We would still mutually hang out. It wasn't like beef like that. We would still kick it. And I think by the time I saw her again, I didn't have a girlfriend again. So it was good. And she wasn't tripping. She wasn't holding it over my head. Maybe secretly in her heart. Because obviously she had to tell y'all right now. It's so important. However, it wasn't that important. And then she comes out for college. I was at the Academy of Art University. So I was studying menswear design, fashion design, footwear design. And she was studying psychology over at SF State, which is obviously in the same city. And then I decided to actually make it official because she was in the same city. We lived in the same area, and I was really digging her. And by the time she came here, I had like cut everybody off. I was like, this is gonna be my girl. Like, I prepped this time.
Make way. The queen is arriving.
And little did I know, she would break my heart 2 years later.
Yeah. So we were together 2 years, but then he proposed to me. And mind you, we are
20 and 19.
19 and 20. Devin was my first official boyfriend. So when he asked me to marry him, I was like, yeah.
1 hour later.
I was like, no. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like, I just knew I needed to kind of be free in that and like date whoever else I wanted to, because I didn't want to have that regret of like marrying him and then thinking what else was out there. We kind of came to a mutual agreement, but I feel like he still was like, get out of here.
A mutual agreement?
You don't think it was mutual?
She was showing signs of like sketchiness. Like, she already had brought up the subject of like having an open relationship. It was weird because I was already like done and like shut everything down. I really wanted to just focus on building a relationship with her and had hopefully growing into something serious in the future. I know it's abnormal for such a young man to think that way, but again, we was heavy in church and I wanted to make sure I was living my life in a way that was right for me. And that's kind of where it was at. And I really saw potential in who she is, and I understood that like if you marry somebody, you marry their family too, and our families. It just made sense, I mean, here we are now. Your boy was right. But she just was so new to it, you know what I mean? And I got that, I understood that. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, let's put the ultimatum down. Like, what are we gonna do? So maybe a couple months later, we ended up breaking up for sure. Yeah. She brought up the open relationship thing again, and I was like, look, man.
Hey, I'm just trying to see what's going on, what I can do.
I was like, look, if you're so curious, you can just go. Like, for me, it's either or, you know? And like, I made a decision for myself. It's like, either I stay with her and she like steps out on me or does some shiesty shit, or I could roll the dice and say, forget it. Let's just break up now and hopefully we get together in the future. But at least I'll trust you. At least I'll still like, we'll still have that intact. So that was really important for me. And I was like, I'm not gonna wait on you. However, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. 2 years of broken up, but again, we're still very much in the same circles. Remember, I'm seeing her at church twice a week. Our families are close, so it was still a torture being around each other because we were definitely like, you know, beef. But
right.
I kept my eye on her. Like, she was still keeping like priorities straight. Her grades were still good, you know, shit like that. So, but I was still mad.
Yeah, I didn't think we would ever get back together.
2 years later, we're 22, and she comes back like, yo, on AIM again.
Well, because in that 2 years, there was a lot of stupid college day things happening, and
she had a little run. She had a little run. Okay, she scratched a few itches. So we'll put it that way, which is what you're free to do, and I don't blame you for doing it.
So, but during that time, it was like not good. I just had a breakdown one day and was like, you know what? I'm trying to put all these dudes in, make them fit into my life when they clearly don't, and I just gotta let it go. And clear as day, I heard the man up above tell me, Devin is the one you're looking for.
Not common sense. Not like obvious. I mean, come on guys, come on, okay?
No, you know, sometimes you need a higher power to get you
No,
right.
no, absolutely, no. I mean, the Lord was in my ear to come forgive your ass. I mean, cause so basically, I tell you my experience. So I get a little aim, and I'm like, what is? Flip up my little. We'll have a little sidekick back then. Pow, it was SHANAE, and I was like, oh shit, we ain't talked in hella long, and it's like a whole long apology.
It wasn't that long. It was
long. It's better. It was long. It was long. Well, the fact that she was apologizing in the first place was huge for me, as she had never apologized for anything ever until that moment. So you were so prideful. You were. You didn't apologize to nobody.
That's not true,
baby.
You right.
You were a brat. You still a brat.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm better.
No, you're way better now. We've grown. Both of us have grown into the people that we're supposed to be for each other. That's what marriage is about. But we'll get to that. Anyway, she was just like, yo, like, I'm not saying necessarily taking me back, but let's start over. You know, I know you're the man for me. I feel stupid for messing this up, but let's just see where we can get something started. And my first response in my head was like, F that, right? However, I will say that the Lord was on me. The Holy Spirit was in the ear, like, yo, you gotta, like, just hear her out. Forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. So I heard her out, and then a year later, we got married. So
yeah,
that was that. At 23, we married. Again, I'm still broke. I'm working. I wasn't even working when we got married. I didn't work till after we got married. About a month after we got married. Because until then, I was doing all jobs, like graphic design, working for this person in my church, babysitting, whatever I could to get some money. And I was like, okay, I'm married now. I get something steady going. And then I start working in retail. And that's kind of how, you guys know the rest of that story, I think, if you've seen that video on, if you haven't seen it, I guess we'll put it up here.
What video?
Come out. This is my story from like retail to Snapchat to where I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, I'll put it up here or link it below or something if you're curious about that. But that's how we met.
Yeah.
That's really it. Back in 2010, people wasn't getting married at 23. I feel like it's more common now. You see a bunch of YouTubers that got married at 18.
I was 22.
Right. But like them YouTubers had been on YouTube since they was 14 and then like got a whole bunch of money now, right? We was broke. We had no job. No social media was happening, no bread was coming in. I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, and she still took the risk of taking me on as her husband. So very grateful for that. So how do you feel so far? We've been married for 8 years.
8 years. Woo!
So serious. We are going strong. Any follow-up questions you might have about the inner workings of what goes on here, feel free to leave them in the comments. We're open books. We'll answer literally anything.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date and hit that notification bell. Boop. So that you are informed every time we drop a video. So until next Monday. Wait, we need an ending.
We'll know how to close it off.
What should we say?
I don't know. Like, anyway, we're doing too much talking again. We'll see you on the next one. Okay.
No.
Peace. I'm out of here. No, I'm getting up.
No, just.
What? We're done. What else? We haven't figured out a slogan yet to get out of here yet, so we can't have an outro. We don't have one yet.
Okay.
It's a freestyle channel. We're gonna freestyle it and just freestyle our asses the hell up out of here.
Bye.
Peace.